Welcome back to The Fight. I'm Molly Seidel. Our next guest is a Notre Dame senior who's already one of the greatest distance runners in Notre Dame history. And he has a 3.8 GPA in biochemistry. Yared Nuguse, welcome to The Fight.
Hello, Molly. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you on here. Before we talk about your achievements, let's talk about your training. How many miles a week are you averaging in mileage? And when you're doing heavy training, does your training differ between track and cross country? Tell us a little bit about what prepares you to race at the highest level.
Yeah, of course. So I think a big part of cross country is kind of getting in that large amount of mileage in. For me, that's around like 80 miles per week. But for everyone on our team, it can be different, anywhere from 70 miles to like 100 miles, depending if you really need like all that mileage to perform at your greatest. Of course, there are like plenty of differences between cross country and track. In cross country, you're going to do more like longer base tempos and workouts like that. While when you get back on the track and you're doing things like, the mile, you want to cut back and kind of work at like intervals and your speed. So, you're kind of like ready for each different scenario.
Yeah, obviously you're preparing at the highest level to race, and it shows in your successes. I want to congratulate you and your teammates on a great cross-country season. Not only did the Irish capture the ACC Championship and the #1 ranking in the country, you're also the first men's runner from the program to win an ACC individual title. So talk to us about the ACC meet and our men's cross-country team.
Yeah, cross country is honestly, one of my favorite parts of being on our cross country and track teams. I think a lot of what we do during cross country is just, what kind of gets me excited about, running as a sport. There's this large like team aspect of me and all my guys just coming together and like, getting on a course that's like 5 or 6 miles long and then hoping that we all do well. And for ACCs especially, we had come in really planning on winning because 2 years prior we had won, but last year we managed to get only runner-up, which was a little disappointing based on where we thought we were at. And so, coming back this year, we obviously had, the big goal, like get back our ACC title. And we managed to do that just as we thought we did. We had a lot of the younger guys coming up and helping unexpectedly. And I think on that day, like, we all just managed to come and do our job. And because of that, we managed to do what, we thought we could do pretty easily.
Yeah, the redemption must have just felt incredible. Some in our audience may remember you had one of the greatest comebacks and photo finishes in Notre Dame athletics history at the 2019 NCAA 1500 meters. Let's take a replay of the end of that race. And Yared, this wasn't the first time you've come from behind to win an NCAA title for Notre Dame. You also did this at the 2019 NCAA Indoor Track and Field National Championships in the distance medley relay. So let's take a look at that clip too. So Yared, I have to ask, where does that extra push come from at the end of the race?
Yeah, that's a great question. Honestly, I've always had that kick ever since I was in high school. And even now, like looking at those clips, I still get like a little nervous, just like, just like, oh man, am I gonna win? And even if it's already happened. Um, and I think, for me, a big part of that has always just been, in high school, it was just like, last one, best one, give it your best effort. But as like grew into college, it was kind of hard to just like keep that up. And so now what kind of really helps me is just like kind of remember, why I'm kicking in the first place, why I'm fighting. And for me, that's always been just my team. No matter what, especially on that DMR, I know that the other three guys before me have put in work. And at that meet, we had a lot of, a giant crowd of, our fellow track athletes there to cheer us on. And, for me, I always want to do like everything I can to make sure that, I represent Notre Dame and our team the best possible way. And usually that just like stirs something up inside of me and allows me to just kind of push through even when I don't think I have anything left.
Yeah, well, truly, you are one of the greatest representatives that we have of our student athletes here at ND. So, final question. You're in your senior year here at Notre Dame, obviously an incredibly gifted athlete and a student. I've got to ask, what are your plans after graduation?
Yeah, that is certainly the million-dollar question. For me, there's always been, quite a lot of like debate, and I'm still not certain, although I have like more of an idea of where I'm leaning towards. Um, I think originally I really wanted to go into dental school, and so I started that application process. But now, as I've looked into it more, I think professional running has kind of been an opportunity I'd like to pursue. However, there's also, since COVID took so much of my eligibility away, a fifth year also just seems like something that would really interest me at Notre Dame, of course. Continuing, to go out and do some of the stuff that I really like wanted to do in my 4 years here, hopefully in my fifth year. And then after that, probably continue on either into pro running or dentistry.
Mhm. Well, Yared, I know I speak for all of the Notre Dame family when I say we can't wait to see what's next for you. And thanks so much for joining us on The Fight.